The night Daniel Carter hit rock bottom, rain soaked through his jacket, the city lights blurred into streaks of gold, and the weight of his entire life pressed down on his chest so hard he could barely breathe. He was drunk, exhausted, and holding onto the last fragile thread of hope for his daughter, unaware that this single night would collide his broken world with that of a woman who ruled boardrooms, commanded empires, and was about to change his fate forever. Before the story pulls you deeper into Daniel's world, take a moment to support this channel. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles life hides in unexpected places, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more powerful stories. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because stories connect us across the world. Daniel Carter had not always been this man. Once, he had dreams that stretched beyond the gray skyline of the city. He had a steady job as a warehouse supervisor, a small but warm apartment, and a wife whose laughter filled the rooms with light. But life has a cruel way of stripping people down piece by piece. When his wife fell ill, medical bills swallowed their savings. When she passed away, grief hollowed him out. When he started missing work to care for their infant daughter, the job slipped away too. By the time Lily was 3, Daniel was a single father with calloused hands, tired eyes, and a heart that lived in constant fear of failing the one person who depended on him. That night, Lily was staying with a neighbor because Daniel had finally broken. He had spent the day being rejected from yet another job interview, watching the polite smiles fade as soon as employers noticed the gap in his resume and the exhaustion in his posture. He wandered into a small hotel bar, the kind meant for business travelers, not men like him. One drink became another, then another, until the noise of the world dulled enough for him to breathe. Across the room, Alexandra Monroe sat alone, her tailored suit immaculate, her posture calm, her presence commanding without effort. She was the CEO of one of the fastest-growing tech firms in the country, a woman who carried billion-dollar decisions on her shoulders daily. That night, she had escaped a suffocating gala and a boardroom full of expectations. Success had given her power, but it had also given her loneliness she rarely acknowledged. Fate moved quietly when Daniel stumbled near her table, apologizing clumsily, embarrassment burning his cheeks. The staff assumed he was a nuisance, but Alexandra saw something else in him. Not weakness, but weariness. Not carelessness, but pain. She offered him water, then a seat, not out of charity, but curiosity. Two strangers, worlds apart, sat in silence as rain hammered the windows and the night stretched on. Daniel spoke eventually, words spilling out not for sympathy, but because he had nowhere else to put them. He talked about Lily, about trying and failing, about feeling invisible in a city that never slowed down. Alexandra listened, truly listened, something few people ever did for him. She didn't interrupt or judge. She simply stayed. When the bar closed, Daniel was barely steady. Alexandra, refusing to let him wander back into the storm, arranged a room upstairs for him. Circumstances blurred by exhaustion and alcohol led to them sharing the suite, two strangers collapsing into the same quiet space, fully clothed, separated by the invisible wall of unspoken boundaries. Nothing scandalous happened, nothing improper, only two lonely souls finding safety under the same roof as the city slept. Morning came like a slap of reality. Daniel woke in panic, his head pounding, the unfamiliar room screaming. Mistake. When he realized whose room he was in, terror seized him. He expected security, anger, accusations. Instead, Alexandra was already awake, sipping coffee, calm as ever. She didn't scold him. She didn't look down on him. She asked about Lily. Daniel fled soon after, shame heavy in his chest, convinced he had crossed into a world that would never accept him. He returned to his cramped apartment, scooped Lily into his arms, and promised himself he would forget the night ever happened. But Alexandra couldn't forget Daniel. In a life filled with polished conversations and transactional relationships, his raw honesty had shaken something loose inside her. She used her resources not to interfere, but to understand. She learned about his past, his efforts, his struggle to stay afloat. A week later, she found him again, not as a CEO, but as a woman who wanted to help without humiliating him. She offered Daniel a job in one of her company's logistics divisions, not a handout but an opportunity. It was entry-level, honest work. Daniel hesitated, pride warring with necessity, but Lily's future made the decision for him. He showed up early every day, worked until his muscles screamed, and refused to let anyone think he was there because of favoritism. Months passed. Daniel's life began to stabilize. Lily started preschool. Their apartment grew warmer, safer. Alexandra watched from a respectful distance, meeting Daniel occasionally, always maintaining boundaries, always careful. Yet something unspoken grew between them, a connection built not on power or pity, but mutual respect. Challenges didn't disappear. Daniel struggled with lingering shame, with the fear that he would never truly belong in Alexandra's world. Alexandra battled her own doubts, haunted by a childhood where love was conditional and vulnerability punished. The media scrutiny surrounding her position left little room for personal mistakes. When rumors surfaced about Daniel's past and their connection, the pressure exploded. Board members questioned her judgment. Daniel overheard whispers at work, the word charity cutting deeper than any insult. For the first time, he considered quitting, walking away to protect her reputation. Alexandra surprised everyone, including herself, by choosing truth over silence. She acknowledged knowing Daniel, acknowledged helping him, and refused to apologize for believing in someone who worked hard and loved his child fiercely. In doing so, she risked everything she had built. That risk changed everything. Public opinion shifted slowly, then all at once. People saw not scandal, but humanity. They saw a powerful woman choosing compassion, and a broken man rebuilding himself with dignity. Daniel stood beside Alexandra, no longer hiding, no longer ashamed. Their relationship didn't bloom overnight. It grew carefully, through shared breakfasts with Lily, through quiet evenings, through trust earned inch by inch. Daniel learned that love didn't have to be earned through suffering. Alexandra learned that strength didn't mean standing alone. When Alexandra proposed, it wasn't in a grand hall or under flashing lights. It was in the small kitchen where Lily did her homework, where laughter had replaced fear. Daniel cried, not because of the ring, but because someone had seen him at his worst and still chosen him. Their marriage wasn't a fairy tale ending, but a new beginning. Together, they built a life grounded in honesty, resilience, and second chances. Daniel became a devoted husband and a father who never doubted his worth again. Alexandra became a leader who ruled not just with intelligence, but with heart. If this story has touched something inside you, if it reminded you that people are more than their lowest moments, please take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to keep stories like this alive. And before this story ends, write in the comments one word that describes how this journey made you feel. In the end, Daniel's life wasn't saved by wealth or power, but by being seen, truly seen, on a night when he believed he was invisible. And Alexandra didn't just marry a man. She chose a story of courage, healing, and love that proved even the darkest nights can lead to mornings filled with light.